I lived. Good afternoon, this is Dr. Bonsai, Dr. Bonsai's Meme Emporium. Today, I have finally some Battletech to review. Lately, I've just not been into Battletech. A lot of my enthusiasm has been killed for it lately, and I'm trying to get that spark back, you know. And this is a Lance pack I was actually kind of excited about because it's got two Dark Age mechs that I'm really excited about, the Jayhawk and the Shockwave, because I originally started playing Battletech in the MechWarrior Dark Age Clicks era under Fan Pro and under WizKids. So I had a lot of fun with that game. Obviously, it was a Clicks game, right? So it was nothing revolutionary on the tabletop, but the fact that they brought these miniatures out and the fact that they sound like they're going to bring more of them out, that makes me happy. So this is the Barnes & Noble. I'm not sure if it's still exclusive or if that's kind of reached normal distribution at this point, because I feel like it's been out there for a while. This is 24 Centauri Lancers as part of their mechs. Obviously $34.99 is the MSRP on this one, and it's got 4 miniatures, 4 MechWarrior cards, and 4 Alpha Strike cards. So it gives you the background about, like, hey, they're deserters from St. Ives Cavalry, you know, blah blah blah. You should play them because reasons. So to start with the paperwork. So, and this is very much a Dark Age era, a Dark Age Ill Clan era Lance composition, because you have a Shadow Cat, like a full Battletech or a full clan spec Shadow Cat, and then so you have the Shadow Cat Prime, and then the T, which I believe this one that we're going to see is the T model in the box. So and then you have the Shockwave. I really like the Shockwave. It's an ugly duckling. It's a trooper mech. It's 55 tons. It's got 3 weapon systems. It's got a decent, move about it. It's not going to light the world on fire, but sometimes you just need that trooper mech to fill in the void. And it's got a rack 5, and it's got a Euro large laser in LRM 10 by default, so it can really reach out and touch somebody, especially if you're not ready for it. You have a Stalker, and this is the 8S, and then the C. That's a huge model number, 7C3BS. Huh. C3BSS. I gotta check to see what that code is for, but yeah. So you get the Stalker, and then you get the Jayhawk. Now the Jayhawk is kind of an interesting thing, because this was originally if I remember the lore about it correctly, it was originally a Jade Falcon mech that the Sea Foxes trialed for and won the rights to, and they immediately flipped it onto the Inner Sphere market, and that made the Jade Falcons very upsetty spaghetti. So you get the Jadehawk 3, and then the base Jadehawk. So, and you can kind of see that this one is more in Jade Falcon. Yeah, this one's Jade Falcon colors. This one's 24th Centauri Lancer colors. Also, fun historical fact for those who used to play Dark Age Clicks. 21st Centauri Lancers was one of the mercenary units that came out where you can get the uniques for. So we get a Mercy Shepherd, we get a Kesh from the Alina Mercantile League. Okay, so each one of these has MechWarrior from the 21st, and then you got Jake Overton. Hopefully we don't have a Jake Overton's window. And then we have Anesia Sutton from the Republic of the Sphere. Then we have Manfred Carr. Then we have Carson Ziebler. Then we have Patience Bauer and Lena Hazen. So that's the paperwork that comes with it. So move that aside and get to the main event. Now, something you'll notice that you get a little dime bag pieces, and they say it's fully assembled, but it's not fully assembled. What the hell? It's not that big. So we get Stalker, the 7.3 BCC, whatever. This one looks pretty heavily armed. I'm gonna have to look at the record sheet for this because this thing looks like it's got some beef to it as far as weapons go. Looks great. Yeah, a little bit of mold. Now, something for mold lines that I bought these from War Games Atlantic, but apparently they're just nail tools that you can get from a nail salon shop or something. It's called the nano files, made out of glass, which seems like that wouldn't work, but I've used these on hard plastic, I've used these on this, and it's really, really good. So basically run that over here. There we go, smooth. So I think I might have cracked it, because metal files, traditional metal files, really are too abrasive on these soft plastics like this. But the nano files are actually quite good. So the way you can see if a mold line is still there. So on this part, I can run my fingernail over it, and it's not got one. So, and then the other good thing, the set I got is from War Games Atlantic, not sponsored, absolutely not sponsored, probably too radioactive for them. You get this one, which is actually round, which seems like that's stupid, that wouldn't work, but it's actually works quite well. So kind of looks, and you can kind of use this like a scribing thing to kind of get the, there we go. It kind of looks rough right now, but at the same time, paint hides a lot of sins as far as the miniature goes and the modeling goes. So it's interesting that, yeah, this plate's cut in two, but this plate is single piece. I don't know why. I don't know why that would be. But yeah, so if you're working with these soft plastics, get you a pair of these. Like I said, I got these from a company called War Games Atlantic, because this is the first time I've ever seen something like that. Like I said, I didn't know what it was. So if you're working with this material, get you some nano files. Job's good. Next, we have the Shadow Cat, which hilariously looks like, y'all remember playing MechWarrior 4? The Shadow Cat model they gave you in that game, that's what this looks like, but it's actually a Shadow Cat T. And again, I have to look at the record sheet because I haven't been engaging with Balancing for a little while, but I saw this box set and it really grabbed me. One of the things I noticed is I feel like the sculpt is a lot sharper than the initial Clan Invasion one, so I'm not sure if that's just because the mold's not as hogged out, or if they got actually better at rendering those details. Next, you have the Shockwave. Now, contrary to popular belief, this thing does not have like a torso cockpit. It's just really, it's ugly, you know, which is, for me as a Dark Age fan, is part of its charm. You know, the Rack 5, the ER large laser, LRM 10, and it's just a stout little slugger. Decent at long range, pretty decent as the range closes because of the Rack 5 and the LRM. And it's got two free hands, you know. Speaking of hands, or more like claws, you have the Jadehawk. Now, you'll notice the Jadehawk has some pieces missing. So, yeah, you can see the little lines there at the angles, but this has, I believe it's got 4 SRM6s and then 4 ER small lasers, or there might be micros, I can't remember which. It looks fantastic. Very reminiscent of the Dark Age miniature, which for me as a nostalgic old coot is a good thing. And then next you have one of the first things that I've ever seen is this soft plastic with an injection with the injection pins on, and so it's like just we'll leave it to the player to come off. So it looks like, yeah, so it looks like these go right there. So you're definitely, yeah, these definitely aren't gonna friction fit. Are they? Yeah, they do kind of. Actually, that's friction fit, but I don't know. It feels like that would get super loose really quickly, like your mom. So I would recommend probably just plastic, not plastic glue, because plastic glue doesn't work on these. Use you know, like a Gorilla Glue, super glue. So, and then you have jump plume. So if you want to have it jumping, you can do it that way. And then the base actually came separate on this, so you can have this, and you actually have it fairly well oriented to the front, because sometimes you have these that are a little bit vague, like what's the front? It's like, is that the front? Is that the front? Is that the front? Like what are we looking at here? So, but this you can pivot it and have it fairly clear where to go. And then you have this little thing in lieu of the jump plume. So you just take that off. So again, friction fit. So if you're carrying it between games, you're probably fine, especially if you get a little paint on this, and that paint's going to thicken up that peg. So I think that would be fine. This is just a solid chunk of, you know, kind of rubble. So put that really on the base that well. So interesting. Aha! Okay, there we go. So you're supposed to. So you've actually still only got like one point of contact with the base. So this kind of slots in, and you see this little gouge right there at the front that orients the mech, and then you kind of this thing doesn't slide on us. There we go. See, you can't get it to. Chat, am I slow? There we go. All right, so yeah, so the peg disappears pretty well. By the time you put your basing stuff on it and whatnot, this is kind of, I'm not gonna lie, that kind of looks bootleg, right? Does that? Am I? So I feel like the intended display for this is. So this is it, kind of trying to face towards the front, and then of course you can kind of wheel it to really get you facing towards the front. But I feel like the intended display option is optimally the jump jets, but I never built my models with jump jet plumes. I'm weird like that. I like the effort, I appreciate it, I just don't do it. So that's pretty much it. This is a pretty tight lance. Now, the good thing about all of these mechs is that by the time Ill Clan and Dark Age rolls around, pretty much everybody has access to these. So you're not going to be, if you're a Capellan player, even if you're a Clan Wolf player, or a Wolf Empire player, I've seen the Shockwave in the TO&E for the Resurrected Star League for the Wolf Empire. So you've got a lot of cool options here. The fact that this is actually a separate piece, that's interesting. I don't think that's going to be that big of a deal to assemble, because it's just requires These are Tamiya side cutters. I've seen, again, some War Games Atlantic ones that everybody says they're just as good as these more expensive ones. I think these were like $20 or something like that. But should make sure it work that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And I might make a separate video kind of addressing my absence. So that's it. Thanks, guys. Love you. Bye.